Hello everyone, and welcome to a new episode of the best Reddit answers being read to you. Enjoy! 300 to 400 years ago, pirates were a terrifying force to be reckoned with. Now they're family-friendly figures of fun. What will be their modern-day equivalent a few centuries from now? Already started that way, but gangsters and pimps already done in South Park, you know what I am saying? The Mafia. The Mafia are portrayed that way at times. Look at Fat Tony in The Simpsons. I was going to retort, saying that even so the Mafia is still active to varying degrees and although less visible is still pretty terrifying. But then again, the same can be said for pirates. So fair. Narcos, we don't even need a century to know that, just how people idealizes the figure of Pablo Escobar and others infamous narcos in Latin America. I was going to comment this. It has already begun with the romanticization of their horrible deeds. They only need Peter Pan or Wacky Races cartoons. Perhaps when drugs become legalized. Yeah, the way they are presented is problematic. At least movies like Sicario show the brutality of the narcos/cartels. If anything, movies covering narcos/cartels should at most do what Godfather 1 and 2 did, where it was more matter of fact than glorification. That being said, I won't fault a movie for glorifying the wealth and excess just like I didn't fault Wolf of Wall Street. Next on ABC Sports, it's the Tennessee terrorists versus the Indianapolis insurgents. Assassin's Creed, Jihad. You mean, AC-1? This hit hard. I completely forgot about AC-1. 2003, Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl. 2203, Terrorists of the USA, The Curse of JetBlue Airlines. 2011, Pirates of the Caribbean, On Stranger Tides. 2211, Terrorists of the USA, On Stranger Airlines. 2007, Pirates of the Caribbean, At World's End. 2207, Terrorists of the USA, At Democracy's End. Still pirates. With a splash of early 20th century American gangsters. A bunch of shady figures trying to push burnt CD-ROMs inked with movie titles in permanent marker would totally be family-friendly fun. Except when it's a goddamn video capture telesync and you can hear or see the audience, that's just mean. To be fair, the people at Radio Caroline who broadcast from ships in international waters at the UK to get around the strictly enforced state monopoly on music broadcasting in the 60s were amazing people. People so passionate about music they'll risk arrest and a few times literal drowning so they can share it with other people are all pretty sound in my book. They were branded as pirates, falsely accused of interfering with marine/ambulance communications. They're still around today as well, online and dab in some cities and ironically from an AM broadcast site that used to belong to the BBC. They just wired up a 350 aerial and I can finally receive it here in Oxford. Mad that ancient AM tech is more reliable in the car than dab, but that's another rant for another day. Hackers. I just love that in 300 years time there's going to be kids running around yelling hack the planet. Hesits at the table and stares at the screen, the numbers, the letters all shaded in green. He types at the keys with a grimace, a grin. He presses the enter. He whispers, I'm in. Ooh. Who lives into hood and hustles to G's? Crack rock pusher. Ducks all the bad beaches and smokes that good weed. Crack rock pusher. Pirates are still scary as fudge tbgh. They just look a lot different. Somalians on rubber boats with AK-47s and RPGs rather than Blackbeard. South Park did a really good episode on Somalian pirates and the Somali spoken in the episode is perfect word for word. ISIS. Just imagine the irony of Western kids playing with ISIS figurines. I can imagine this conversation in the 1800s. Can you imagine children in 200 years playing with Indians, or pretending to be Indians? And if we go back another 200 years we have witches. There's still seafaring pirates. They just use small and fast boats to raid big container ships, which is why they started patrolling the seas and escorting ships with the naval forces of several different countries. Last I heard of it they pretty much beat them down and are now teaching them and their families to harness local resources to manufacture products and make a comparable living from honest work. This still occurs very commonly. Research ships I'm familiar with that drill the ocean floor for soil samples are outfitted with gun turrets and will not set out on any job without having private armed security, often ex-military, to protect the crew. There have been a few close calls even in recent years. Most of these jobs I have personal knowledge of requiring security, like this was off the coast of South Africa, Mozambique and the Black Sea. Bloods and Crips type gangbangers, motorbike gangs, hell, in 500 years the memory of people like the Nazis, Bolsheviks, and Al-Qaeda will be such distant memories people might like them. People dress up as Vikings for Halloween. Attila Hun was a good guy and night at the museum. I now really hope we figure out either consciousness transfer or heads in a jar before I die, if for no other reason than to see the 500-year reboot of Night at the Museum with Osama bin Laden as comic relief / hero of show. Now listen up, new guy, you gotta keep bin Laden away from the aviation section, you hear me? Laugh track. Gang members, for example Italian mob, MS-13, Mexican mafia etc. We're already there with the Italian-American mafia. They haven't really existed, they still do obviously, the way they were in the 70s and early 80s. According to my minimal research, I believe that it was because of the federal witness protection program launched during the 80s by the government. It enabled many of the members to break omerta and provide crucial evidence in convicting the mafiosos without the fear of any danger or death. Also, it largely reduced the recruitment pool. Considering we've been through the same thing with assassins, like the Hashashian, poachers, like Robin Hood, Old West outlaws, mobsters, hackers, graffiti artists and parkour hooligans, I'm betting. People who sneak dogs into bootless apartments. Worse, people who don't pick up their dog's poo. No, they will always be reviled. Murderers and serial killers, they'll just be like, oh, we can just use the reviver, they're fine. Remember kids, a real murderer never kills. A real pirate never takes another person's property. Coal miners, industrial food processors, and any other one of Mike Rowe's dirty jobs that we will have moved past as a society, either through automation or from transitioning away from those types of fuels and foods. I work in manufacturing and automation is replacing more people than ever. There is a lady who has spent the last 50 years punching serial numbers with a manual press. When she retires, we are replacing her position with a machine. Those sweet paying factory gigs area thing of the past. Exporting jobs to other countries will be in the past in the next few decades, I believe. What would have been your answer or question? Leave it in the comments below. Slap that like and subscribe button for more, and check out the link in the video description for even more answers. Peace out, and catch you in the next video.